Welcome to Synth and Story, the cutting edge amplified.
Welcome to Synth and Story. Today we're diving into organizational AI adoption because, well, it feels like getting AI set up is less click install and more building a spaceship in your garage with instructions written in Klingon.
Like Jekyll.
Mm-hmm.
That's not far off, actually. The technology itself, it's moving at lightning speed. But getting it working inside a company, making it truly effective, finding that real value.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the real challenge lies.
Right. And you hear about AI everywhere, ChatGPT, DALL-E. I mean, these tools are incredible, showing just massive potential.
Absolutely.
But the big question for anyone trying to navigate this, whether you're building AI, buying it, or heck, just working alongside it, is how do organizations actually get ready for this stuff? Like, what are the nuts and bolts they need in place, and what are the hidden tripwires?
That's exactly what we're trying to unpack today. We're going to explore that crucial question by looking at some really interesting research. Specifically, we've got findings from a study talking to managers right in the thick of it in the software industry.
Okay, boots on the ground.
Yeah, and we're pairing that with another study that interviewed, I think it was 25 AI experts from all sorts of different fields, asking them what makes an organization truly AI ready. So kind of the practical view and the strategic overview.
Gotcha. So let's start unpacking. The AI tools, they're out there, they're accessible, often through like third-party vendors, cloud platforms. Way easier than building everything from scratch.
Absolutely. Much more accessible than before.
And companies know they need it for efficiency, better decisions, automation, you name it.
Okay.
To stay competitive, the opportunity seems pretty clear.
Oh, absolutely. That optimism is a huge driver. Like one manager said, I think AI is helping already now, but it is going to be even bigger in the future. There's this real strong sense of potential.
But you said it's not plug and play. What makes AI so different from, I don't know, rolling out a new CRM system or something?
Well, the research points to a few things. Unlike, say, a standard software update, AI often feels fundamentally harder to grasp. It's not just setting configurations, it's training models, iterating, and sometimes the way it gets to an answer feels, well, a bit opaque.
Ah, okay. The famous black box.
Exactly. That's the term you hear a lot. It's the difficulty in always pinpointing the exact reason behind an AI's decision or prediction. Its logic isn't always based on simple, transparent rules you can easily follow back.
Right. It learns from patterns in data, which can be super complex.
Precisely. And that can make people, hesitant. How do you trust it? How do you fix it if it goes wrong? That lack of transparency is definitely a hurdle.
Yeah, I can see that. It feels like a big leap of faith sometimes.
It really can be. And, despite all the hype, all the excitement about what AI can do, the studies we looked at found there's still a real lack of clear, practical advice for organizations on how to actually manage this complexity, how to successfully bring AI into the fold effectively.
So everyone's kind of figuring it out as they go.
To a large extent, yes. They're often tackling it piece by piece. And that's exactly why understanding these readiness factors is so critical.
Okay, so how do researchers even start to get their arms around something this messy? What kind of mental models or frameworks help structure this?
Yeah, good question. They lean on some established theoretical tools. One big one is the Technology Organization Environment Framework, usually just called TOE.
TOE. Not involving feet, I hope.
Smiles. No feet involved. It basically helps you look at technology adoption by considering factors in three main buckets.
Yeah.
First, the technology itself, its characteristics, complexity, etc.
Okay.
Second, the organization adopting it, its size, culture, resources, structure.
Makes sense.
And third, the external environment, like market pressures, competitors, regulations, the talent pool.
So tech, company, and the outside world. Got it.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that one of the studies, the one with the software managers, actually combined TOE with something called the Technology Readiness Index, or TII.
Ah, bringing readiness right into the name.
Precisely. TRI usually looks at individual people's readiness for tech, but they adapted it here for the organizational level. So this combo framework gives us a really useful lens to focus specifically on what makes an organization prepared or ready to adopt AI.
Okay, so it's not just what affects adoption, but are we actually set up to deal with those factors?
You got it. It shifts the focus to preparedness.
All right, let's peel back the simulation layer then, using that TOE lens plus readiness. What did that first study, the one with the software managers, actually find? What did their real-world experiences show?
Okay, so Starting with the technological context, as we kind of touched on, the fact that AI tech is available and seen as a huge opportunity is a definite driver. Managers see it, it's easier to access, and they recognize its power for solving problems, especially ones humans aren't great at. That optimism really fuels readiness.
So seeing the potential makes you want to get ready. Makes sense.
Right. But they also really confirmed the complexity aspect. They were clear. AI is different. It's not plug and play. Some even described it as a major technological shift, like the early days of the commercial internet.
Wow, okay. Big comparison.
Yeah, one respondent actually said, it'll be a little bit like when we got commercial internet or something like that.
Mm.
We are only in the beginning. It will accelerate the coming years, so we ain't seen nothing yet.
So huge potential, but also a steep learning curve.
Exactly. And they also mentioned the media hype can sometimes create misunderstandings or unrealistic expectations. People thinking it's magic.
Right, so managing expectations is part of readiness too.
Definitely. Okay, now shifting to the organizational context, this was fascinating. The factor that came out as most important for readiness, according to these managers, was communication.
That's communication,
Right.
really. More than having like amazing data scientists or tons of data.
Yeah, it surprised me too, initially. But think about it. They stressed that you absolutely need a clear vision for why you're using AI, and that vision needs to be communicated effectively throughout the entire organization. Everyone needs to understand the goal.
So it's not just a tech project siloed away somewhere.
Exactly. It can't be. One manager put it really well. I don't think it's the right way to use just hire some AI experts and assume that this person is going to be able to create all these great things. You'd have to have the vision and an understanding of what this technology can do before you bring in an AI expert.
That makes a lot of sense. Get the why sorted before the who or how.
Precisely. And having an agile culture, one that's generally open to change, that really helps support that communication and integration too.
Okay. What else in the organization matters? Size. Money.
Ah, yes. Size and resources. Now, you'd instinctively think bigger companies, more money, easier AI adoption, right?
Yeah, seems logical.
Well, it's a bit contradictory. Yes, larger organizations often have more financial resources, more slack, as they call it. But being big can also mean slower decisions, more bureaucracy, which can actually hinder how quickly they adopt AI.
Interesting. So being big isn't always an advantage here.
It seems not definitively. Some managers noted that smaller, more agile organizations might actually find it easier to build AI into their core way of working right from the start. So the jury's still kind of out on whether size is purely a facilitator.
Okay, complicates the picture a bit. What about the outside world, the environmental context?
Right. Competitive pressure was a clear one. It's a strong motivator. If your competitors are getting into AI, you feel the need to keep up or even get ahead. Being an early mover can give you an edge.
The fear of missing out, basically. FOMO for businesses.
Chuckles.
Yeah.
You can call it that. Now, skilled labor. This one was a real paradox. Well, obviously, having access to people with AI skills facilitates adoption. You need the expertise. But almost universally, the managers reported a major shortage of qualified AI talent in the market.
So you desperately need these people, but they're incredibly hard to find.
Exactly. It's a huge bottleneck. And one interesting reason suggested was a potential mismatch between what universities teach, maybe focusing heavily on algorithms, and what companies actually need day to day, which is often a lot of data cleaning, data preparation, getting models deployed.
The less glamorous side of AI.
You got it. One respondent said, the students are not really prepared for what the AI work actually is, because it's very, very little focus on designing algorithms because you have so many good libraries to use.
Huh. So practical skills are lacking.
That was the suggestion. And the shortage is partly why those third-party vendors are so important. They make the tech more accessible, even if you can't hire a huge team of specialists.
Okay, makes sense. Any other environmental factors? Regulations?
Yeah, regulations came up, mostly GDPR in this context. And again, a bit of a mixed bag. One manager felt uncertainty around interpreting GDPR was a significant blocker.
Right. If you don't know the rules, it's hard to play the game.
Exactly. But others didn't see it as a massive barrier at that moment. However, there was a general sense of uncertainty about future regulations, which can create hesitation. Overall, though, being able to comply with existing regulations was seen as something that facilitates adoption. It gives confidence.
So clarity helps, uncertainty hinders. Makes sense. Okay, so that software industry study gives us a really grounded view with some interesting twists like the size issue and the talent paradox. Now let's plug into the mainframe, so to speak, with the second study, the one with the 25 AI experts. How did they frame organizational readiness?
Right. This study offers a more structured, kind of overarching perspective. They broke down organizational AI readiness into 5 key pillars, or action fields, as they call them. These are areas organizations really need to focus on and develop.
5 pillars of AI readiness. Okay, I'm ready. Lay them on me.
Pillar number 1, strategic alignment. This is all about making sure your AI efforts actually connect to your business goals.
Okay, not just AI for AI's sake.
Precisely. It involves finding the right AI business potentials, figuring out where AI can genuinely add value, solve a real problem, or create a new opportunity. As one expert put it, in professional life, I would say that there's actually no area in the value chain in which AI cannot be used to fundamentally change something.
So finding those sweet spots.
Yep. It also includes making sure your customers are ready for AI. They need to understand and accept AI-powered products or services. That black box thing makes this tricky, right? Managing expectations is vital. Expert E08 mentioned the end user must be prepared, must have a clear expectation or vision of what the AI system will be able to do.
Right, customers need to be brought along.
Absolutely. And you need strong top management support. That signals it's important and drives things forward. Then there's AI process fit, making sure your internal processes are structured in a way that AI can actually work with them. Standardizing helps.
Getting your ducks in a row internally.
Exactly. And finally, fostering a culture of data-driven decision-making generally. Being comfortable using data and stats aligns well with how AI operates.
Okay, pillar 1, strategy. What's pillar 2?
Pillar 2 is resources. Pretty straightforward, but crucial. First, you need a sufficient financial budget. AI isn't cheap. It's investment in tech, yes, but also in tailoring it, integrating it, training people, dealing with uncertainty.
Yes, sounds expensive.
It can be. Expert E09 pointed out, because it's just so often that I can't say, hey, we're going to start with the topic of AI and make X million budget available and play around a bit and see. You need real commitment.
No, playing around budget, got it.
Right. You also need the right personnel, not just the DIMP AI specialists, but also people who understand both the business and the AI, like business analysts with AI knowledge. Bridging that gap is key. And of course, capable IT infrastructure. You need robust systems, good data storage, networking, computing power, the works. Expert E15 noted how much communication tech has advanced to handle the large data volumes needed.
Okay, strategy resources. Pillar 3.
Pillar 3 is knowledge. This starts with basic AI awareness across the board. Employees, even those not directly working with AI, need some understanding of what it is, what it can potentially do, and importantly, what its limitations are. Managing expectations again. Expert E09 said it simply have to be a continuous process of change because ideally this awareness is then known throughout the company.
So demystifying AI for everyone.
Exactly. Then comes upskilling. Actively training employees in relevant skills, data handling, understanding AI ethics, but also strengthening their core domain knowledge so they can work with the AI effectively. This is vital given that talent shortage we talked about.
Training your own seems critical then.
Very much so. Expert E23 said, from the company's point of view, it will be necessary to make upfront investments and train people. And a big part of knowledge is addressing AI ethics, understanding potential biases in data or algorithms, and putting measures in place to prevent unfair or discriminatory outcomes. Expert E15 warned that data itself can contain a kind of prejudice or bias.
Right, that's hugely important. Okay, strategy, resources, knowledge. Pillar 4.
Pillar 4 is culture. This is about the organization's mindset and ways of working. You need innovativeness, a willingness to experiment, adapt, take some calculated risks. AI, especially the newer generative kind, opens up so many possibilities. You need a culture that encourages trying things out. Expert E12 noted some employees are just more open-minded and find it easier to try out something new.
So being okay with not having all the answers up front.
Yes, exactly. You also need collaborative work. AI projects often require breaking down silos. Domain experts, AI specialists, IT, business units, they all need to work together closely. Expert E12 talked about IT and business needing to be partners. And finally, strong change management. You have to help employees navigate the changes AI brings, address fears, especially about jobs, and communicate how AI can augment their roles, not just replace them.
Handling the human side of the equation.
Crucial. Okay, last but definitely not least, Pillar 5, data. This is foundational. You simply can't do AI without it.
The fuel for the AI engine.
Perfect analogy. First, you need data availability. Just having enough data, and the right kinds of data, structured, unstructured, whatever the AI needs. Expert E2 have warned, first of all, many people always underestimate the amount of learning data required.
More data than you think, probably.
Often, yes, but it's not just quantity, it's data quality. This is where that famous blunt phrase comes in. Expert EO8 quoted it, shit in, shit out.
Chuckles. Can't argue with that logic.
Right. The performance of your AI is fundamentally limited by the quality of the data you feed it. So data cleaning, preparation, quality checks, they're non-negotiable. Then you need data accessibility. Developers and AI systems need to be able to get to the data easily and quickly. Centralizing data often helps here. Expert EO3 stressed needing ready access to data.
Making it easy to get the fuel to the engine.
Exactly. And finally, you need good data flow. Think automated pipelines. Data needs to move smoothly and continuously to train models, update them, and feed into AI applications in real time if needed. Expert E13 talked about managing the data pipeline, providing the right data in the right format.
Wow, okay. 5 pillars. Strategy, resources, knowledge, culture, and underpinning it all, data. That's a comprehensive picture from the experts. So how do these two things, the state of readiness and the actual act of adopting AI, how do they relate? Is readiness just like step 0?
That's a really important question, and the research, especially the expert study, has a clear answer. Readiness is not just step 0. It's not a one-off checklist you tick before you start. It's deeply, deeply intertwined with the entire process of adoption.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about how organizations often adopt AI. It's usually not this one big bang implementation. It happens more incrementally, right?
Yeah.
They might start with a small pilot project, a specific use case.
Yeah, dip their toes in the water.
Exactly. Test it out, learn, see if it delivers value. And because AI can be used for so many different things, the level and even the type of readiness you need might change depending on what specific goal you're aiming for with AI at that particular time.
So the readiness needed for automating a simple task is different from readiness for, say, developing a whole new AI-powered product.
Precisely. One expert said readiness is completely dependent on the industry, target customer, product, or whatever.
Yeah.
So readiness isn't static. It needs ongoing attention, continuous assessment, and development as your AI journey unfolds.
So it's less like reaching a destination called ready and more like constantly checking your map and your supplies while you're on the journey.
That's a fantastic way to put it. And the really cool part is how readiness and adoption feed each other. Having a good baseline of readiness helps those initial pilot projects succeed.
Makes sense. You're better prepared.
Right. And then, when those projects do succeed, when people see the AI actually working and making a difference, what the experts call generating aha experiences.
It works.
Exactly.
Yep.
Expert EO7 specifically mentioned these aha experiences are what ultimately makes it so that the acceptance then increases. Those successes build confidence, increase understanding, maybe free up more resources, which in turn boosts the organization's readiness for the next, maybe more ambitious AI step.
So it's a virtuous cycle.
Yeah.
Success breeds readiness, which enables more success.
That's the idea. They reinforce each other throughout the entire adoption journey.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. Bringing it back to the listener, why should you, listening right now, care about TOE frameworks, software manager paradoxes, and these 5 pillars? What's the takeaway?
Well, because whether you're working inside a company, grappling with AI, maybe you're developing AI solutions yourself, or you're leading a team that's going to be affected by it, or even if you're just trying to understand where the world of work is heading, knowing these factors gives you a much clearer map of the territory.
It's like getting the cheat codes for navigating the AI maze.
Chuckles. Maybe not cheat codes, but definitely a better map and compass. It helps you anticipate the bumps in the road, spot potential friction points before they become major problems.
Yeah, I can see that.
It helps you understand why some AI projects might be struggling while others seem to fly. And maybe most importantly, it helps you think about the skills, the conversations, the cultural shifts that are really needed both for organizations and for individuals to not just cope with AI, but to actually leverage it effectively.
So it moves us beyond just the tech buzzwords.
Exactly. It gets you to the nitty-gritty of making it actually work in the real world.
All right, so we've really peeled back some layers today on what it takes for organizations to get truly ready for AI. It's clear it's way more complex than just plugging in some new tech.
Definitely. It touches everything. The technology's unique nature, the people, the internal culture, the resources you have, the knowledge you build, and fundamentally, that critical layer of data.
And we've seen that readiness isn't a one-and-done thing. It's this ongoing dynamic dance with the adoption process itself. You're constantly learning, adapting, building capacity.
Absolutely. It's a continuous journey of preparation and evolution, really, as the tech changes, as your goals shift, and as the world around you changes too.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to chew on. As AI keeps getting smarter, faster, more capable, pushing into areas we haven't even imagined yet, how will organizations, and just as importantly, how will you as an individual need to keep adapting to stay AI ready? Looking at those 5 pillars, strategy, resources, knowledge, culture, data, which one do you think will be the toughest nut to crack consistently in the years ahead?